wins and losses, so a very important series overall to kind of solidify themselves in the middle of the pack. I think coming into this, though, even before the draft, Wildcard is probably the decently favored team in general, just because of their past history. Just haven't had a good season overall.
Somebody tip this man?
Yeah, and they've played a lot of good teams, right? They played Quincy Crew, they played EG, and they played Nouns, and Nouns is overperforming. So they still have to play this match and 5-4 staff. So they'll definitely pick up some more wins, most likely, before their series is over. So a little bit disappointing of their current position, but they'll catch up. Ooh, nice D-ward there.
Looking at these lineups, the Clinks obviously standing out. The panel kind of talked about that being a... well, they didn't like it. Let's just put it nicely.
The battle begins.
It has vulnerabilities, definitely, especially in the early game. That can be a bit of a problem. One thing that I really liked about it last time they played it, I mean, the Marcy is a decent hero to pair with it because it gives you lane sustain with Burning Barrage on the creep wave. But last time they played it, they had a Helm of the Overlord offlaner, which can increase the HP of the creep, and therefore Death Pact gives you like a monster amount of health and damage. They don't have that this game, so it's a little bit weaker, but I mean, the hero definitely has laning issues. It's the biggest reason probably that it doesn't get played that often, but even if he dies a couple times, he should be able to farm very well, especially against a Razor type carry. So at some point, this might pay off. But yeah, it might look a little bit rough in the start.
Yeah, this is, I mean, for me, this is going to be 3 games in a row with a quote-unquote questionable range carry selection. First 2 games, it was Enchantress. Now it's a Clinks. We'll see how it fares as Sammy Boy gets disposed into pretty god-awful territory, so he's going to have to walk all the way around right now.
Sunsfan, that's a false equivalence to compare a Clinks carry to Enchantress carry. One of those has been viable for very many years, even through all the changes, and one of them has almost never been played, and it's the Enchantress. So,
well, again, like I said today, which is a small sample size, 0 for 2 Enchantress. Will Clinks do better?
Yes.
That is the real question that we will find ourselves answering within 20 to 40 minutes.
You think it's going to be that fast, huh? Okay.
I don't know. Clinks, it's a weird hero. I like the idea of like comboing the Burning Barrage with certain stuff, but I don't know. This game, it is an interesting pick. I mean, a lot of stuff was banned, though, to be fair. Like Scourge McDuck's hero, like when I think of him, I think of Wraith King, probably the #1 hero, but that was banned in the second phase, I think. So respecting a lot of the like his heroes that he's able to play.
Plays a lot of Bristleback and a lot of TA as well are probably the other 2 heroes that I would say are big carries for him. But yeah, not an absolute rarity to see him play the Clinks. And I guess he isn't laning with the Marcy, so he's not getting any sidekick bonus in his advantage. But hey, if they can make Disruptor work, that's not bad either. It's definitely a hero I've seen Jubei play in the past, despite his shameful, absolutely shameful lack of cosmetics.
First blood goes the way of Eve. Sorry, you caught my attention with cosmetics. Who were you talking about?
Jubei has a shameful lack of cosmetics on the Disruptor. It's
wow, you're right.
Truly disgusting.
Just a bare bones, nothing to him. Yeah, that does look quite disgusting. Thank you for bringing that to my attention. We're going to have to message him after this game to make sure that we send him something, even if it's just like one of those crappy helms. Of course, all his mounts are good.
There's a lot of Disruptor sets, so I think somebody can dig deep and give him the good supply to him. It'll be fine. Yeah. I like this. Divine Llama actually picked a Bulwark early game here, because this is one of the upsides to Clinks, actually, is that your Syrian Arrows does a shitload of damage. It's 24 damage with 1 skill point. Your base damage is bad, but it's actually pretty straightforward to harass your opponent if you have the mana for it. But with Divine Llama picking a Bulwark, he just doesn't have to worry as much. An additional 40% of the harass he's taken is gone. Yeah, maybe his kill potential is not going to be as high, and that was something the panel was very worried about for Clinks. But you know, by the time he hits 6, he'll be in a much better place with his double bracer build, possibly triple bracer build. We'll see, and then he'll get his spear levels picked up.
I'm sure we've had this conversation before, Purge, and I'm sure you know my disgust, so I won't even go off on a rant. I'm just curious what your opinion is on orb walking. Because I thought that this was one of those mechanics from Dota 1 that wasn't going to stay for that long, because they've gotten rid of a lot of like this old like legacy stuff from Warcraft 3 as Esk taking damage with that death pulse from Shaggy going very deep into the tree line. I guess
he does this every time.
Yeah, he's been creep skipping a lot on this Necrophos. But do we have a TP coming in? He might get punished. We'll see. Looks like he's going for the kill before his resigned death, and yes, Illusory Orb will go through for Esk, so he ends up netting the 2nd kill for Wildcard.
Yeah, that's a Tim moment. He overstayed a little bit. He did glyph his creep wave, but the range creep died a little bit faster than he expected. Took like 4 tower hits there, and really nice rotation there by Alex. It feels like deja vu, honestly. We've seen him do very similar things in the mid lane before. With that said, he's got 26 last hits, so he's still doing some monster stuff. But maybe he should have had 1 point of Ghost Route. He opted for 3 points Heartstopper. This ability does not scale that well in terms of the regen. He could probably justify leaving at 2. If he just had Ghost Route when he does this crazy shit, he would actually be able to go a lot farther. And I feel like I've seen Weehaw do similar things like that as a mid player before. That actually gives you a lot of value from these like ultra aggressive movements. So I would have liked to see Ghost Route there if he really does play like playing so aggressive.
I noticed that you have not answered my question yet. About the
orb walking.
Orb walking.
I mean, obviously, it's very good and very abusive in some heroes. I don't think it's that big of a deal because you just balance the heroes around it.
Yeah,
you just nerf Glaives of Wisdom into Oblivion, so it just sucks so bad. Level 1.
Starbreaker only connects on 1, but Afro and Rajix are forced out of lane completely. I mean, I agree that it's not even a balance thing at this point. It's just more of a quality of life for everybody that has to play against it kind of thing. Just buff the heroes, get rid of orb walking. I'll be happy. But just a very minor gripe at this point.
Yeah, I mean, it's Viper's the most annoying one by far, I think. Everyone else is sort of fine. Like, Clinks has vulnerabilities to just getting killed by his opponents if he gets too aggressive. Silencers, like I said, Glaives of Wisdom early, kind of just you can do more damage, but it's kind of a waste of mana, so there's just better things to do. So, I don't know. At this point, if you want to nerf Viper, you wouldn't be the first player to say that for sure.
You can add Enchantress to that list, although she doesn't really have the cooldowns until you get that maxed out impetus. As Shaggy looking for this power rune at 6 minutes. It will be bought, and it is an Arcaner. As we can see, the first coil of the game from Esk. Likely to turn into a kill here, although Sammy Boy's still on the low ground. And they lose your orb. Ends up netting Esk yet another kill. So 3-0 wildcard start. Can't say we're too surprised with this so far, but I mean, on paper, did you said the Clinks isn't that bad. We're maybe over
in terms of orb walking, yeah.
No, not orb walking. But in terms of the lineups themselves, if you don't look at the teams, like how would you rate, like whose lineup do you actually just like more on paper?
Whose lineup do I like more on paper? The wildcard lineup, it definitely is a lot more cohesive in terms of what it accomplishes. I feel like Eves has been playing amazing. As a carry, he's improved a lot over time, so I feel like he has the stability to make Razor carry a big fearsome thing. If you make mistakes sometimes, it feels underwhelming, so I think that undercuts some of their weaknesses that they don't necessarily have a hard carry, but their laning stage should be fine. So I'm pretty into the wildcard lineup for sure, but maybe the cut has some good potential here. I mean, High Shaggy has 60 last hits. His aggressive playstyle has not punished him, so even though he died, he's still quite ahead of Puck, who has 2 kills, by the way.
Yeah, for sure.
Because he's just taking the enemy small camp.
Oh man, we got
look
massive
at these
TPs. The coil, he's gonna break it immediately. Divine Llama has come. It's gonna get set up by the cookie, the spear, rebuke, and down goes High Shaggy again. Now keep in mind, I mean, he's still top net worth despite these 2 deaths now. Okay, Afro able to get out. Jenkins has said on record that this is Shaggy's best hero in the Necro, and you can see how that's still the case, even with these deaths coming in. Maybe a little bit too cocky.
Yeah, that kind of seems like a High Shaggy thing for sure, that he does get a little over his skis once in a while. But if as long as his net worth stays relatively competitive, it's not too bad. He is now only even with Puck, though. So this is the problem. Even if he's able to get ahead here, getting punished like really undercuts the value here. Going for the game as it continues. He just finally skilled his ulti at A tier. Didn't really plan to get any kills.
Oh, Cookie, there's the arena. Spear to follow, but TP's coming in. Alex, not quite enough damage to finish off Scourge McDuck. Back into the trees we go. Rebound going to give him a little bit of extra movement to get out, and Alex is now taking the brunt of the damage, and he will get turned around on by Afro. So good TP in for the cut, finding their first kill of the game. By the way, would you agree that Shaggy is probably the person that hasn't been showing up to scrims?
Hasn't been showing up to scrims?
Yes.
I really don't know. I mean, there's 5 players. They are described as all similarly chaotic, so it's hard to say. Okay. He did just finish university recently, though, so maybe he had some really important real-life shit to do.
Oh. He passed? I actually heard he's very smart.
That's what I've
just
heard.
Very lazy, which is an interesting combination.
Not
Rajix.
uncommon.
Yep, that is true. Rajix doing a lot of damage to this tier 1 tower top in his dragon form, as Shaggy has kind of come to play as well. Looks like he
Tanked
has
approximately 15 auto attacks from the tower as well.
indeed has his hood on the way for Shaggy, and we'll be going for a Spirit Vessel next. And they will be able to get this tier 1 tower eventually. Doesn't look like any defense is being mounted. Scourge McDuck has made his way to the mid lane, and looks like Maelstrom is going to be the first item for him, which is not a huge surprise.
Yeah, that's the standard build by all means. Just increases your farm speed by so much. When you use the old Burning Barrage, picking up a Possessed Mask is great for him as well. But so far the Cut's pretty content with their current positioning. Marcy did a little bit of creep holding at the tower, TP's back to the tier 2 to avoid getting dove for a little bit of safety, but Afromoose should be able to get some levels from this. This is the toughest thing though, is that Marcy's kind of under-leveled right now. You don't really need 6, I guess, for this hero to be good though. So it's kind of a mixed bag, but Disruptor's also under-leveled. Only level 5 here. Hasn't been able to participate in a kill yet. Once they hit 6, then some stuff will happen, but who's gonna buy the tome is the real question. I do not know.
Yeah, no Reaper Scythe even used yet, so the Cut is playing it quite passive. Well, I say that, and Shaggy's constantly on the other side, but looks like he's not going to be in the mid lane anymore. I mean, in terms of like the Clinks build, you talked about Maelstrom kind of being cookie cutter right now. I've heard you talk about Diffusal. I don't know if I've seen that myself, but it does sound pretty cool. The fact that it's so much cheaper now feels like it could be pretty value on Clinks, but we haven't really been seeing it all. Yeah,
nobody else has bought that item other than me on the hero, so we probably shouldn't give it too much attention, but on paper it does make your Burning Barrage effective early without needing allies nearby, but the reality is that, like, look how fast he's going to jungle with these stacks in Burning Barrage. Like, with Maelstrom, he's just going to clear this whole thing.
Yeah,
Diffusal can get you there, but it's not going to get them this low. Like, a lot of neutral creeps do have mana right now, so it's a little bit better than it used to be, but certainly this is better for aiming for the long late game.
All right, Wildcard pressuring the tier 1 mid. We're going to see some TP support for the Cut, as a lot of members of both respective teams have come into this area now. But still haven't really seen any kind of I mean, when does Shaggy want to start getting a little bit more active? I feel like it's mostly been farming for him. Even if it's on the other side of the map, he's not going for kills necessarily, just farming very aggressively, and still no Reaper Scythe usage.
Yeah, he has hit a couple creeps this game. I mean, if his supports are under-leveled, it makes some sense, right? If you're not really expecting to see Clinks get that much done, it's not the weirdest thing. And Dragon Knight's also kind of a slow pusher until he gets Blink Dagger. It's kind of hard for them to set up kills. You could argue that you always want to like throw in Reaper Scythe kills here and there if you can get them. Just to start your scale, put it on cooldown and get the bonus. But you know, if the kills aren't coming to you, that's fine. The fact that his net worth is still extremely high, despite being 0-0, I think is a really good sign for them at the moment. He truly does have an absurd amount of farm considering his KDA.
Yep, that is indeed true. Spirit Vessel is going to be finished pretty soon. They're actually going to smoke, so might be seeing the first opportunity to use that Reaper Scythe. As Eve in the area. There's the rebound, dispose. Okay, they're going to use the static. Okay, it's not really going to matter. The Reaper Scythe gets the kill anyway. But yeah, a little bit of miscommunication there.
I suppose there is the new Static Storm buff from 5 to 6 seconds. A lot of pressure on Scourge. He looks a little dead.
Yeah. Oh, but the spear misses.
Don't tell me.
Yeah. Okay. He has no HP. He's a Clinks after all. I almost forgot about that detail. So across the map ends up being a 2-for-1, but Shaggy getting really low. Solar Guardian is coming. He finally pops that Ghost Shroud, but the spear does massive damage as a result. Illusory Orb to finish him off. So 3-for-1 after the fact of losing that Razor on the other side of the map.
He did not use his Hood of Defiance. Forgot to press the barrier there. Would have given him about 250 HP after all the magic damage block. Probably could have lived, I dare say, but either way, nice pressure from Wildcard Gaming. Clinks had his ultimate active, by the way. He did have HP, but it was just too much. They were very delayed on the detection, it seemed like. And then all of a sudden, everyone just died.
Yeah. Clinks can be quite squishy indeed. We'll be going for the Dragon Lance, though. I mean, at a certain point in the game, the hero becomes unbelievably tanky. It feels like it's one of those heroes that it's either super squishy or super tanky, and there's not much in between. Obviously, the ult has a lot to do that if you're able to get it off.
Did you say which hero are you talking about?
Clinks.
Oh, Clinks, yeah. It's really just a matter of time. Your farm speed is really high. You can always get damage item or tanky items. They'll get there eventually.
All right, we have the Kinetic Field Static Storm holding Sammy Boy in place. This is all for the support, of course, but the cut will still take it. 7-3 advantage for Wildcard, who have a 1K net worth lead right now.
I think they're just aiming to get Clink super farmed. I mean, Razor definitely can be competitive, like I said, if he doesn't make too many mistakes, constantly hitting creeps, but it just takes time on Klink's. His most vulnerable period is definitely the first 20 minutes or so. Once he gets his Dragonlance and buys his Scotty, which he almost certainly will buy this game due to the Razor core on the enemy side. Once he gets to that point, his raw survivability is going to be quite high, and the large magic burst coming out of the Wildcard gaming side isn't going to feel as good. God forbid when he gets a BKB, then it's like, oh, I get coiled, whatever. He still has to worry a little bit about getting static linked by Razor, but ultimately, his damage is pretty bursty, so he doesn't necessarily have to show until he's ready to go in. And if that's how he plays the fights, then maybe Razor will feel a little less valuable and we'll have to go on somebody else.
Now you can see Ryjex has his Blink Dagger. On the other side, looks like... who was that? That was Divine Llama. Originally had the Blink Dagger lined up for him, but he's actually opting for the BKB first. I mean, they do have a lot of setup with Coil just into whatever the hell they want. Solar Guardian, Mortimer's Kisses with Cookie set up as well. On top of that, as we're going to see the Dispose onto Sammy Boy. He gets into the pit, but it's going to get glimpsed back. And actually trying to go for his ult, but he's going to get Reaper Scythe instead. So second kill for High Shaggy, second proc for him.
Yeah, I just wanted to play it safe there. They maybe could have gotten him, but... Puck Coil mid now. All right.
Yeah. Spirit Vessel will apply, but there's the Mortimer's Kisses and the Mars Arena combination. So the Dragon Knight will fall. Shaggy looks to be next. Gets off the Ghost Shroud, though. And is going to live as a result.
Okay. Pops Hood there, in that case.
Yep,
the tankiness difference is very huge.
Oh, but the Cookie set up again, and down he goes to the Scatter Blast. So just like that, deleted. 3 for nothing now, as Esk just chasing down Jubei. That haircut's not going to keep him alive, although he looks great. Sure, we'll get another camera shot of him at some point. The Wildcard winning that fight big time.
Just feels like sloppy mistakes from the cut. They're like disengaging, and then they're just getting gone on again. Wildcard Gaming walks up, hits him with the Cookie, does a second round of burst, and at that point, being at 40% HP, doesn't matter. He gets killed. So I guess he did get Spirit Vessel charges from the original Dawnbreaker kill, but he needs to disengage. He's definitely playing overly aggressive so far in this game. It's kind of the common complaint of him when you have a Jenkins watching High Shaggy play. He's like, oh, he gets picked off like that all the time. So it's kind of what I'm feeling watching this game so far.
Yeah. That is definitely true. But he does have permanent 4 HP regen and 2 mana regen for the rest of the game with those 2 Reaper Scythe skills.
True.
That is value. Just for using a skill you're going to use anyway. Yeah, I can, of course. How does it work when you get higher level ult? Is it retroactive or?
It's not retroactive.
Oh,
Axe is, I believe, but Necrophos is not.
Yeah. So why is that? Like, that doesn't really make sense to me, though. Like the interaction.
Don't know.
It's Dota.
Buff the Axe, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, Axes is very good. Very, very good, but not in Dota, just in other game modes. We're going to have the Dragon form from Ryjex. He gets the Blink off, and Solar Guardian actually doing a lot. Coming in, getting decent amount of heal despite the Spirit Vessel. They're going to take out the Marcy to start things out, but there's a Reaper Scythe again. That's going to be the end of Divine Llama, but Shaggy dies right afterwards, so not really able to get full value out of the regen. So nice turnaround again from Wildcard Gaming, using that Solar Guardian to high effect.
It almost went okay for the cut despite the rough start. They kind of, like the Marcy support and the Dragonite kind of fulfilled similar roles there. They wanted to approach, but Marcy couldn't leap in. So Marcy eventually leapt off an ally to jump in, popped his ulti, and then he just died. He accomplished almost nothing on Afromush in that fight. The Disruptor ulti is really the difference maker. It silenced everybody on the Wildcard Gaming side and actually gave Shaggy a chance to cast Death Pulse 1 or 2 more times and get some damage off, including his ulti. But watch the Marcy jump from the right, jumps in, misses the damage, pops ulti, and yeah, instantly just gets kind of cleaned up. Silence from Puck, the overall AoE damage. Things looked really bad for Shaggy, but he gets Ghost Shroud off. They also can't cast spells, so he's basically invulnerable. He gets Reaper Scythe, but they're just kind of misexecuting in a big way on the cut is my perspective so far. Not a big way. They're just making mistakes in some of these team fights.
Yeah, you can see
it's kind of costing them a lot.
You can see kind of the disconnection here. I mean, 7K lead for Wildcard, and I mean, we talked about how like Scourge McDuck's interview was kind of I don't know if concerning is the right word, but obviously Div 1, it's not great to have, you know, certain players maybe not showing up to practice and whatnot. I don't want to harp on that too much, but I mean, B-God is the one that's being subbed in for by Afro, and I thought he has been actually their best player from the games at least that I've cast. So
yeah,
he's going to see what the reason is he hasn't been here. Maybe he's the one not showing up. Who knows? Only more questions from that interview. So have to have hopefully another interview in the future for Scourge that we can maybe clarify. I'm sure Effie will ask many questions about that.
Did you feel like she asked a lot of questions?
That was quite a lot.
Okay.
They were high quality though.
Like
You're just sitting there.
Yeah,
like,
they're all really good questions. It's just like 7 of them or something. All right, let's see if they can get something done on the map now. They do pop a smoke here, so they're going to go play near High Shaggy, the guy that gets gone on. He's building towards the Yules to give himself a little bit more survival. Oftentimes this is needed on the hero. But in the meantime, Wildcard Gaming kind of playing in their jungle.
Yeah, Eve would be a great target for them. Divine Llama is in the area though. BKB popped by Eve, so he has an idea this is happening. Gets off that plasma field. Jubei gonna get static linked. And, well, he gets his movement speed, but looks like he's sacrificing his... Actually uses Static Storm. We'll die shortly after, though. There's the Mars Arena from Divine Llama. Shaggy taking the brunt of the damage. Gets off his Reaper Scythe, but not a whole lot of damage to follow it up with. And it looks like the Marcy will be next. So Wildcard reading this situation perfectly, and their lead expands even more. What a shellacking we got going on here.
That was really cool where they're playing, right next to their cliff ward that they had available. That way, if smoke does break, they had trees between themselves and their opponents. And the moment that he saw DK, he popped BKB. It looked like an early one, but he knew that there was a chance that it could just be blink stun DK, tons of damage going on the Razor. So the fight gets forced a little bit, but they're able to run down their opponents with their superior mobility. And yes, another teamfight win for Wildcard Gaming. And this is probably how the rest of the game is going to continue going here.
Oh, the dust. They find Scourge. They don't have Coil, though, and now a double TP. So Wildcard resetting. Do force out those TPs, though. Yeah, Rajix. That Blink Dagger Dragon Tail. And some damage onto Alex, who's going to get a scatter. He's going to man up, apparently. Looks like he will be the sacrifice. Did cost them a lot of TPs, though. They need to get more. Oh, they find Eve, though, inside the kinetic field. Very nice find. That's the power of that disruptor.
Yeah, that's why they forced the fight. The fact that they got Razor as well on that was very, very good. Very solid from 500 gold for Jubei and 500 gold towards Rajix in those 2 kills. So definitely very needed to get him a bit closer to these BKBs of their own. Scourge McDuck's got one queued up. Rajix has one queued up as well. They know what they need to do. And it's backdoor the mid tower. This brings back Dota 1 memories, doesn't it?
Oh, yeah.
Clinks attacking buildings. Yeah, you guys know backdoor protection didn't always exist. That's because here's like Clinks would just run around the map invis and like destroy towers when nobody was nearby.
Yep, not only that, but
quite obnoxious.
They didn't have fortification either. There was nothing you could do about it. What a fun time that was. Scourge McDuck. All right, we have the glimpse into the immediate Dragon Tail. They're going to find another high value kill from the side of the cut, and now Divine Llama getting slowed to a crawl. You can see the Shaggy picks up that shard. He's going to try to turn this around with that ultimate of his, along with Sammy Boy, focusing on the Clink. So a nice turnaround again from Wildcard Gaming, despite being down in numbers. And looks like they are going to kill off High Shaggy as well. Although Reaper Scythe coming, that deletes Divine Llama off the map. So permanent regen for Shaggy, which he will enjoy as he is dead.
Yeah, but the Spirit Vessel undercuts all the regen he gets from the kills, so it looked pretty solid for the cut. I love the way they did the glimpse into the Dragon Tail stun just to get a little closer, drop the ulti, kill the puck. That was very cool, but that ulti and the BKB, crucially, from Divine Llama just solidifies the fight. And it's just another reminder how powerful Dawn ulti is if you can force people to stay in a limited area there. So, great team fight damage done by Divine and Sammy Boy there.
And Eve working on the Refresher Orb, which he's about 100 away from finishing. That's a pretty nicely timed refresher, if I do say so myself. Dragon Tail onto Sammy Boy, but no real backup for Rajix. Doesn't want to chase the pig. As DK getting close to finishing BKB for himself.
Top tower is under attack.
And Aghanim Scepter is what Sammy Boy is working on. That's interesting, because I feel like against... Well, at least the Burning Barrage, it doesn't do anything, right? Because you're not going to miss on attacks. But you do get more heal overall. from
I
the
suppose
Solar
I always
Guardian.
forget about the evasion, to be honest. That's an aspect that I don't think about often. It's very good against the skeletons summons. So when he breaks invis and summons your little skeletons, if those are missing 60% of the time, that part's pretty solid, honestly.
Oh, that's true.
There's some upsides. But largely it's about the amount of heal and damage output you're doing, right? Because you have more time. So I guess the heal per pulse goes up by the most. But
Are scanning.
9K lead for Wildcard. Yet to take
Radiant's bottom
Roshan
tower
out.
is under attack.
Their lineup not really the best at doing so.
yeah, both are kind of weak at killing Roche, really. Clinks is okay, but
Oh,
back
Clinks. Okay, Rebuke finds High Shaggy. BKB popped by Eve. Instant Reaper Scythe deleting Divine Llama. I don't think that was enough for the kill outright, so won't get the permanent regen, but they find the kill nonetheless. And with that, Wildcard just have to hightail out.
yeah. Divine makes a mistake, doesn't press BKB, anticipating the reaction, so they're able to burst him. And that's the big team fight that Wildcard needs, right? They want to combo those spells together. So when he gets chain stun from full to nothing, then we see the value of the cut draft. And now it's kind of looking spooky, actually, based on how that last fight, because they've got the easy stun, right? Dragon Knight's the best blink stun initiator, pretty much. Follow that up with a Necrophos, and everything's perfect. It also did help that the smoke broke kind of weird, right? The smoke broke, and then Divide blinks forward aggressively, not seeing his opponents, but thinking somebody was there. And then that kind of led them into like an ideal engagement. So there's a lot of good things that happened for the cut in that fight.
Dire's top tower
Sammy Boy
is under
did
attack.
finish the Ags, so Solar Guardian's going to be... Oh, we'll see how much impact it has. As Eve finds Jubei, the glimpse goes off, and it will be enough to save Jubei. And was that the... oh, that was the Dispose. I was wondering if that was the Shard on Marcy, but nope, not yet.
Dire's
And
top
probably
tower
not
is under
ever.
attack.
I think it's situationally good. It's not like it's a bad ability by any means. Takes some getting used to.
Yeah, like
Oh, Dragon Tail initiation. We've seen this before. And, I mean, oh, Mars Arena. So Divide wants to actually fight. Ends up deleting Jubei, who buys back into the game. But High Shaggy gets completely destroyed. And now the chase is on as Wildcard. Not chasing anymore. The chase is on until it's not.
Oh, they want to fight more, though. They've got Glimpse. BKB's got used. But they don't have any vision. Oh, they actually do.
Yeah, Divine Llama inside the kinetic field. Lots of right-click damage, and Ryjix is going to ensure that they find that kill. And on top of that, they find Alex as well, which means Roche is open for the taking. All right, they're starting to crawl their way back in this
Glimpse
game.
vision, but yeah, they are. That was very nice. Great buyback from Jubei to guarantee that kill. But that's the value of Glimpse, really, especially these long BKB cooldowns. As long as they fight immediately after BKBs get used, hey, you get these great opportunities to pick off like these important heroes to kill. So maybe Shaggy got destroyed again, but whatever. That's the point, right? 5-8 and 3, tanking up for his team, making it easy for Clinks and Rajix, the Dragon Knight and the Clinks to clean up the rest of the fights.
Now, Aegis,
We're talking about Marcy Shard.
yeah.
I think it's if it was a sub ability, if it was a different ability, it would be totally great. But the fact that it's like based on rebound, it makes it kind of messy because it like to use it at all, it takes away one of your good abilities, and it's like so core to the hero to like jump in and throw somebody back with Dispose that in most cases you just wouldn't prefer to do that. So it's, I don't know, and some of it's players just aren't that used to it, but people think of Marcy certainly more as an initiator. I feel like
I am 99% sure they're going to replace it with something else because I don't think having 2 saves on one hero is a good idea anyway. I think conceptually I just don't like it, whether it's its own skill or not. In fact, I think I prefer this version than the one that you said because then you have even more to work with. You have 2 saves and the rebound.
What was the
yourself.
last one? I don't remember.
Scanning.
What do you mean last one?
Was there a previous rebound shard? Is that what you implied?
No, I'm saying I think they're going to get rid of this one. I think of something new.
Oh.
Sammy Boy inside the kinetic field. Burning Barrage deletes him from the map, but the coil comes in from S doing a ton of damage. Shaggy is dead in an instant, not tanky at all. Rajik's able to TP out. The fight will end here. Buyback was used by Sammy Boy.
Just the problem when you play Death or when you play Necrophos like this and you don't get your tanky items in time. I mean, the fact that he's buying Spirit Vessel very normal on Necrophos right now, but the problem is he kind of bought Spirit Vessel and then he jungled a lot. They didn't really get a lot of value from the charges, so he didn't get to accelerate too much. And he bought the Hood because he also needed that, but then it's like, okay, you need a survivability item, dude. And it's BKB, but he's not there yet.
Oh, Ass gets disposed into a Dragon Tail, and man, yeah, the combos that they have, you can see the potential because they are getting some high-value kills. They've cut the lead in half, and it was a 10K lead earlier, so doing a great job as they cut.
Crucially, Clinks hits level 20 as well, so he gets 50% more damage from his Burning Barrage now with the +3 arrows fired, so that is going to be really big for them. And like you said, they've got Aegis as well. Puck almost certainly has to go Lincolns. He's got it queued up now. He's clearly... He hasn't died that many times, but this has been punishing for sure.
Tower is under attack.
Yeah, 40 seconds on the deck for him. And we haven't really gotten to... I mean, I guess Razor has popped the refresher. I guess I just didn't notice. Great play-by-play by me. But haven't really taken a full team fight, just kind of pick-offs, and seems like not enough chase from each team other than that glimpse, which is single target, but we haven't seen like any team wipes completely yet. But Aegis still online for the cut, as Blink Dagger now available for Marcy. The Blink Dispose, this thing is crazy. You have Aether Lens as well, so the range is ridiculous on both Blink and the Dispose. I think this is what makes her the best support in the game right now, based on what I've seen at least.
It's definitely really good for catch. It's Dragon Knight-like, in that you're just instantly grabbing people, but she does often die afterwards. That's definitely one of her vulnerabilities. But if you can just start the stun and kill a hero like Puck, yeah, it's really, really amazing.
Eve, static linking high Shaggy, who gets off the BKB, but that's not going to do anything against this right click, as Eve easily gets that kill. In fact, Divide Llama takes it for himself. So 60 seconds of no Shaggy, no buyback to work with.
That's tough. He didn't have TP off cooldown at the time, so that was his only salvation against the Razor. That one feels really bad. Tough one. They got the tier 2 tower at least, so there's slight upsides in the meantime, and Clink still has high net worth, matching the Razor, so it's definitely not all bad. But Shaggy's had a tough game, but at least he's got his BKB done. That fight didn't look great, but won't be the last time that he gets to use that in a crucial moment.
Yes, we have some TPs bought by the cut, but Eve is going to get the hell out of dodge. Has the S and Y now, so a lot of extra movement speed to work with. And they're grouping up. I'm not sure if they're going to go for a smoke or not, but they've kind of gotten rid of a lot of this time on the Aegis just by getting like 1 or 2 pickoffs, so the cut can't really group up and take advantage of having this timing.
Yeah, and that's one of those problems sometimes. If you do get picked off on the map away from your Aegis, you're not forcing a fight. The best teams are better at avoiding those deaths, and therefore the only advantage that your opponents are going to get in these fights is maybe split pushing, or if they happen to win a fight through Aegis, which is a lot harder. So all these sloppy deaths that we're getting from the cut here and there are adding up, but they've gotten so many on the way back. So comeback mechanics are definitely still alive here, and they're going to smoke and run into Wildcard Gaming. They do not have vision. There's a ward. Okay, this ward's not spotted.
And tier 2 is going to be forwarded. Scourge has his Scotty now. The Aegis is about to be consumed. There's the Dragon Tail initiation and the Solar Guardian to try to counteract it. But this is a lot of right click to withstand. BKB by Divide Llama gets off the arena, and just like that, Afro is dead. Divide Llama is still alive throughout all of this. And you can see Eve gets off the static link, perma-stun onto Scourge despite having the Scotty. How did Divide Llama live?
Bulwark, dude.
That is some
good,
good,
turned
clean
and
stuff.
tanked it.
And they're going to find more on top of this. Double kill for Eve. Jubei dead again. 4 for nothing. And they'll be able to get the tier 2 and potentially push this tier 3 as well.
I mean, that was the hero they found. They thought they could kill him, but he BKBs, and that stops all the magic damage. And from there, it's just Clinks, and Clinks is like, all right, I'll do it. He starts attacking him, but he's blocking 70% of the physical damage to his front, and the Maelstrom's not proccing either because he's BKB'd, so just meant that his damage output kind of ran out. It's also possible, I didn't...
What am I watching? What is this battle?
Here's that fight once again. They start off beating up Mars's back. They got a lot of damage in. The Dispose comes. He's stunned for a super long duration, and it was also, of course, the heal from Dawnbreaker. Really elongated. Oh, and the evasion I Dispose too, huh? So he was getting 60% evasion from the Dawn ulti on top of the heals, and then he just starts absorbing all these ranged attacks, which then start proccing on his ulti. Oh, that was cool. That was picture perfect Dawn ulti coverage on the tankiest guy in the team. So couldn't have been a better team fight for Wildcard.
And while all that was happening, the Rax was taken out. So we had a 1v1 battle of the ages, and that was while the bottom Rax was being pushed. So that is not the range racks, though, just the melee. Of course, that is the important one, so it's all that really matters. What do you... Oh, okay, Mars Arena, Divide. Nice blink out from Afro, but Jubei is going to pay the ultimate price, and now Shaggy is kind of segregated from his team. Static Link is there as well. Okay, we do have a lot of damage coming from Scourge McDuck. And, okay, a nice dispose out. So Shaggy will live as Divide Llama getting a little help with that cookie, but it looks like he's eventually going to drop. And High Shaggy taking a lot of damage with that Mortimer's Kisses, but they cancel it, and they get that pesky Snap Fire. So a 3 for nothing. Good turnaround from the cut.
Okay. A little bit hairy, but that great dispose definitely saves them in the team fight for sure. That looked great. Scourge McDuck instantly sprints to the Tri-Camp to farm it. Now they're going to pressure the tier 2 tower. They're fighting into this game. I really didn't think they were going to have decent comebacks, but their pickoffs with some of the glimpse stuff that they've been abusing is definitely hard to keep in mind when you are playing a intense game and your BKB's down. But I really feel like the glimpse was the key to a lot of these comeback fights. And then obviously their chain stunning was pretty solid too.
And the sloppy play from Wildcard. I mean, it feels like any time they have an advantage, they play a little bit less disciplined than what we're seeing. At least from like last season, I was really impressed with the discipline that they had. But it feels like they've been missing something this season. Obviously, like you said, the schedule has been ridiculously hard, so probably lost a little bit of motivation as a result.
And all the teams have gotten better too, right? Like EG has roster swapped, as did Quincy Crew. So, and the weaker teams as well. Noun's got better too. That's 3 teams that are bigger heavyweights in the region. So even if Wildcard stays equally the same, they're just going to look a little bit sloppier in some of these cases.
Yeah.
But still have a good shot right now. BKB's up on Razor.
Disposed into the Static Storm, and the Reaper Scythe is just enough damage. And they get out as well. That was a hit and run. Good attempt from Sammy Boy with that Solar Guardian, but it wasn't enough.
That's the terrifying stuff that they've got. Chain stun into damage, into Death Seeker, Reaper Scythe. How do you survive? You need like a disruption or a glimmer or something like that. And if he doesn't get his BKB off, the fight's just over. So good picks.
Oh, but the buyback now onto the Razor. They're focusing on the Clinks inside the Mars Arena. Pops the BKB, just trying to man up, but the BKBs are going to avoid a lot of this damage as Afro getting taken out by Sammy Boy. On the other side, High Shaggy pops the BKB, but again, it's just against the Static Link and ulti from Eve. So nothing really coming about. So a good buyback in the end for Eve. Roche not quite up yet, so can't take full advantage, but still a good fight from Wildcard.
It was. It feels like the game is just back and forth like that. One fight, the cut crushes it. Next fight, Wildcard Gaming crushes it. They're definitely playing a bit of ping pong here with their engagements. But still, a lot of the value for the cut comes down to Reaper Scythe, and that's on cooldown. Wildcard very ready to fight, but maybe they can exploit this buyback in the next fight. Rajik's looking caught. Yep,
Static Link, but they have to cancel in the form of the Scatter Blast. So despite being a big juicy dragon, not going to help him survive there. And Roche is up in 15 seconds. Let's see if they scout it in time. Esk is in the pit right now, but he have to stand there.
That was kind of an interesting play. I don't think Rajik's expected them to be there. I think he thought like, oh, they're just going to go mid and go work on another rack, so I'm going to go split push top. But instead, they're just obnoxious as hell. They run top with 4 heroes, and they kill him, and then they say, all right, we'll take Roche when it's up. If they can. Yeah, instantly we're going to see Razor head over. That's going to be a little bit of a tell to the cut that Roche is available. We'll see how fast they can kill this. They don't have the best single target damage with Razor. Razor is not a good Roche killer.
It's already at half HP, and yeah, I don't think they can get here in time now. So this will be the Aegis and the Shard. Shard is missing from Razor right now, and Puck. Those are the only 2. That would be an interesting choice, neither of which are crazy good. Looks like Eve's going to hold on to it for now, and yeah, he will consume it.
Pretty good on Razor. I guess the Fork Lightning can be great. Gives slow duration, stuff like that. I like it.
Yeah, I mean, it makes Storm Surge an actual skill. This is the most boring skill in the game, let's be real. Like, my goodness.
I kind of liked it when he used to zap once in a while. That was kind of fun.
Yeah.
Kind of a fun build, but...
Yeah, it's like the, what's that item that zaps? The tier 4.
Stormcrafter.
Yeah, I thought that would be cool for Razor, is just the base ability.
theme, yeah.
Thematically, at least, yeah. Wildcard.
He's had stuff like that before. It's always AoEs, but
Radiant's top tower
True.
is under attack.
A very late Yule Scepter from Shaggy, so Lotus wasn't enough, BKB wasn't enough, needs the Yule Scepter to stay alive. We'll see.
it's good against Razor too, kind of. If Razor's not BKB'd, he can actually just use him and run away. That gives him one solution there, I suppose.
Is under attack.
But yeah, he definitely needed more survivability. If he can just elongate his life by an extra 6 seconds, he's doing tons more damage in the team fight. You know who's really farmed though is Alex, the Snapfire. He's got Spirit Vessel, Veil, Shard, Blink. He's got 1,000 away from an Ags as well.
Oh wow.
In a really good place.
We've been seeing a lot of farmed Snapfires today. Seems to be the go-to hero for the greedy support. Yeah, once he gets that Ags, like that's another layer of initiation. Looks like Sammy Boy will be taken out on the other side of the map, but it'll be a trade for tier 2. Although Divine Llama wants to play, gets off the Mars Arena, taking a lot of damage, but gets off the Rebuke. End up netting himself the kill into Afro. Blinks out. And we do have a Static Storm, and Divine Llama pops the BKB again, thanks to the Refresher Orb. Staying alive, there's a Solar Guardian as well. Jubei 4 steps to the other side, but there's the Burning Barrage. Still, Divine Llama is alive throughout all of this. And on the other side, Rajik's trying to focus on Eve, but he is completely outnumbered. It was technically a 3 for 2 with the buybacks now.
He needs to leave.
Scourge McDuck. Oh, the coil! So close.
It's well done by Sam. Hides in the trees so he can't be killed, puts the ward down, but unfortunately they weren't able to get there in time. But yeah, cleaning up the rest of the fight was still great for them. It took so much effort once again for them to kill Mars. And I can't help but think after watching this game that Mars is just like a great solution against Clinks. Like, stop his range damage with Arena Blood in a lot of cases, and if he ever tries to kill you, you just bulwark him. The amount of raw damage you're reducing is so much that it just makes Clinks not feel like the best right clicker. Because you don't buy that many damage items on Clinks usually. It's like a moderate amount of damage with some like hybrid stuff, and the 70% reduction is really just making a big difference. And you can't really like outplay the Mars unless you rely on allies to stun for him. And yeah, his Burning Barrage does an insane amount of damage right now, but even that seems to be reduced by Bulwark, I think, if he's turning the correct way.
Sure.
They'll take my word for it.
Yeah. I mean, you talk about a counter to Clinks. I think picking him as a counter to Clinks. Picking Clinks, that is. Has not had a great...
Countering yourself, yeah.
Yeah, has not had a great win rate. But...
Is that true? He won the last game you played it.
I'm just making that up.
Just a hater.
Yeah.
Just a big fuck.
It's probably not true at all.
Huge Clinks hater.
It's just...
Gotta keep you honest.
I've been really mad about the design of this hero ever since they brought back Death Pact.
Death Pact.
It's just such a quality of loss, if that's the right way to put it. It's like you have to eat a creep before you fight, and if you don't, then you can't fight. It's such a weird like little mini timing within this hero.
Well, you can cast it while you're in Viz now, at least. That part's kind of nice.
Yeah, they've added some stuff to make it a little bit more bearable, but I don't know. And you can eat your own skeletons, obviously, which is nice, but I don't know. That's forced synergy in the end. But then again, what was the other skill they had? It was Strafe that they got redesigned to dodge projectiles. That was a really weird one when they changed that.
Yeah, it was kind of cool, but yeah, they needed to give him some kind of farming ability because otherwise he just wasn't very viable as a one position. So the changes they made definitely made Burning Barrage really busted right when it came out, but I think he's in an okay place right now. Just, yeah, there's some counters, but it's cool to see teams still picking him occasionally. I'm into it.
Yeah.
He had it queued up. Looks like he's maybe changed his mind. Hasn't moved the courier just yet. It's maybe not that dire of a game just at this moment.
It's 16K. I mean, he doesn't know that, but that seems quite dire.
And for 43 minutes, you just got to win like 2 team fights. You're back in this baby.
Okay.
Slap 2 good team fights on this. You got to win. There's Lincoln's on the puck though, so getting those initial jumps is going to be a little bit harder. Dawnbreaker's ulti has definitely proven to be very effective in the last couple of fights, so I don't know, kill the backline supports and you're going to feel a lot better, but it's not easy to find them.
Yeah. And Esk also has Octarine. Go ahead.
Octarine, what the hell? So farmed.
Yeah. Very, very farmed. Has the Ascetics cap as well, so we'll get extra status resist on top of the Kaya Sage. That's always nice.
He got Dream Coil Rapid Fire, Suns fan.
Really?
Can we get a pull up on that, please?
Wow.
I would love to see the percentage. I feel like nobody gets that talent.
That's awesome.
It's just Dream Coil pierces magic immunity. 13%. Very similar win rates though. But think about it this way: does he need to pierce magic immunity with his Dream Coil? It's usually for like carries that want to like BKB and run. All these heroes on the cut side kind of just stand their ground, so it kind of makes sense for him to skip it this game.
Yeah,
his
that's
right click's
true.
not the most incredible, but
we're gonna see the coil on the Shaggy.
Him.
Yeah, that's
He's
a lot of damage. Oh, but the spear misses. BKB popped by Divine Llama. Shaggy's in a lot of trouble. Force Staff potentially saves it, but a nice arena blocking in 3 heroes. Triple kill for Divine Llama. They're gonna have to buy back because this Dragon Knight is mega dead, and even with a buyback, obviously will not have his dragon form anymore. He's just a human. He's basically the anime character, aka useless. Terrible backstory, very boring. Now another buyback onto Necro. There's the Dragon Tail. And you can see the damage coming out from the Burning Barrage. Another buyback. Wildcard gets off the second arena for Divine Llama just to try to disengage. And looks like they'll be successful.
Suns fan, they killed his family though. You don't think that's a good backstory?
I mean, that's as cliche as it gets.
Where else are you going to go to get that kind of backstory?
They killed my family. I must eat a dragon. Okay. Divine Llama taking a lot of damage. The turnaround potential from Sammy Boy. Gets off the double shard, in fact, as Eve getting off a full duration static link. And this could be the beginning of the end for the cut in game number 1. Buyback instantly onto Scourge McDuck, but the rest of his team are dropping like flies. Divine Llama does end up dying. No, he's still alive somehow. This guy has been living on a sliver of HP for seemingly the whole game. And okay, well, Scourge thought he could get the kill, and he did, but it cost him his own life. But it probably felt pretty good for him.
That was a game of wombo combos, is what it felt like for me for Wildcard Gaming. They really showed the true value of having Puck Dawnbreaker, having Mars Dawnbreaker. Even these restriction things are amazing with Snapfire, lobbing in the kisses, Razor running down his opponents. And at the end, the Clinks was fine, but they had other issues. They were getting just out team fought with their heroes. Glimpse was effective, but they all had BKBs at that point. So unless the cut like starts winning the fight,